Hi, scrappers. This is Alice Funk from Morgantown, Pennsylvania, and I want to show you some page ideas using the same type of border punch. So I am going to just let's pin my tabletop here, and that way you can see. Whoops. Let's see. Why is not working? Okay, just when here we go. So here's my tabletop. What I'm going to talk to you about is border punches that are about 2 inches wide. They cut on the edge of your paper, such as this. So it cuts on the edge and then you can trim it where you want. So this particular one is the spring leaves. This also works with the Mandala punch as well as the Damask Floral. The right now Creative Memories only has that Damask Floral still in stock. I have a Spring Leaves one still in stock, but I want to show you many ways you can use these types of border punches that cut on the edge with this repeating pattern. So obviously you can cut one strip exactly the same all the way across and add it to the edge of a piece of paper. Great idea. It looks beautiful, but then there's other options. So for here, I want to show you repeating it. So what I did was this was also the Mandala. I started it this bottom level, doing it all the way across. And then when I started cutting on the top, and I did this with a 3-inch strip of paper, I started about halfway through that mandala on one side and then punched so that they were alternating back and forth. Thought it gave it a whole new look. On this red one, I started with a 2.5-inch strip, and look at that. It made a whole different pattern going across. Almost looks like a worm or snake. Absolutely love that I can do something different with the same punch. With this, again, started with that 2.5-inch strip. I cut it straight across, turned the paper over and cut it straight across the other side, making starbursts with that same punch. On this one, again, starting with 3 inches, I cut it on both sides exactly the same, and it was double-sided paper. So I put a strip of dark blue in between and then folded over the bottom to create a whole new look. Really cool idea. Again, you can do this with that spring leaves with the alternating pieces. What I did was I cut out the light green starting at the edge of the paper. And when I say starting in different spots, if you open up your border punch, start your paper right on that line in the front. That gave me the light green border punch, that repeating pattern. With the dark green paper, I started on, there's a line. Some of these punches have what we call a frame. So if you start the piece of paper on the outside line, put the edge of it on that outside line, and then punch it, it's going to start halfway through your pattern and go across, which is going to, and then when you layer them, it gives you that leaf look with layered in different spots. So I have some starting about halfway and then moving back and forth. It just gives it a great look. So when I say that frame punch, the frame punch allows you to take the piece of paper, such as I did with this, and this was done with the Damask Floral punch. Oh, I'm upside down. What I did was I started my piece of paper, and we're just going to take a piece of paper to give you the idea of it. And you start it in the corner, meaning that the edge of that piece of paper is going to come out to that frame line. So some of them have a frame line, some do not. These particular punches, the spring leaves and the Damask Floral have that frame line, meaning start your paper on the outside And then when you turn it flip your paper over to start this edge so that I'm going this way now, again, start it on the outside line. And it gives you this perfect leaf pattern on the edge of your paper. Absolutely love that look for the edge of the paper. So just get rid of my confetti here. So that's what I did. I started on that outside line and went all the way around to make that frame look. Makes a beautiful layout for you to add pictures to. As long as your paper is 2 inches repeating. So in other words, for this one, I started with a 12-inch piece of paper and went all the way around the outside of the paper. For this one, you can start with a 10-inch, 10 by 10 piece or an 8 by 8 piece and go around the outside. As long as it's divisible by 2, because your pattern is 2 inches wide, you want to make sure it's divisible by 2 to get that beautiful look and make that frame around your pictures smaller. You can also do the edges, sort of like how I did here with the spring leaves. On the Damask Floral, I actually did the two corners, two sides of the corners with that frame edge on each corner. And then I took my trimmer and just cut between the two edges and made this another whole look for that frame page. Again, what I did was I wanted it to, whoops, we're upside down here. I wanted this one I did with the Mandala punch. I did it again, I did the two corners and I added one more. I just punched it one more time. So with this spring leaves one, what I would do is just move this over, overlap it on the design that's on the edge of your tray for your paper, punch it. So now I have two edges to that spring floral. And now I can tuck it behind. If I were to cut it off in the corner, sort of right across here, I can tuck it behind either a picture frame or I can tuck it behind another piece of paper. Just gives you another whole look to add a little dimension on the corners. For this one, absolutely loved it. This one I used the Mandala punch. What I did was I cut, I have a background piece of paper, 12 by 12. I cut down an inside piece of paper to 11 by 11, and then I cut it into quadrants. Went over about 4 inches, cut it 4 inches there and 4 inches across here. And then each corner of those quadrants, when you lay them down to set them up, I just tucked the piece of paper, flip it over, tuck your piece of paper corner right into your punch. Make sure that your punch edge is going to be on there. See how I'm kind of that little piece of paper sticking out, but that punch edge is going to be on that punch of piece of paper. So it's going to give you that beautiful edge right in the corner on a diagonal. So I did that for each one of those quadrants. Absolutely loved how that one came out. I also did it, same thing, the 4 quadrants. I did this one with the spring leaves. Just gives you a whole new look for the inside of those 4 quadrants. Makes them line up so beautifully and so pretty. You can even put a little title in there. This one, I did my Mandala punch in a circle. Basically, what you're going to do is cut out a big circle with your giant circle template, and then take your punch and go around and punch it all the way around. I did it again here on a big circle, punched out all those mandalas around, you can kind of set it up so you do it at 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then go back and do 1, 2. Um, 3 would be already done, 4, 5, and go around your whole circle. And on this one, I just cut my circle in half and put it onto another piece of paper. I thought that would make a great page layout as well. Remember how I said those spots on here are 2 inches wide? So I took 2-inch strips of pieces of scrap paper that all matched together, cut them at different lengths, and then I just stuck the 2-inch edge into my punch. So let's get a 2-inch. Let me just this off. Let's do a 2-inch piece. So what I did was I took that 2-inch wide strip of paper, flip your punch over, stick that paper into your punch, and put that template of the cutting pieces right on the edge of that piece of paper. Cut it, and you're going to have that beautiful little edge. Pull off those little whisker pieces that are still there. You have that beautiful edge. Makes great bookmarks. On this, I just did alternating 2-inch strips with different pieces of paper. Cut the edge on each one so it was something uniform about it, and had the different color greens on this piece of paper. For a 2-page spread, it's going to look beautiful. Did that again. This actually is the Damask Floral punch. Same thing. Did it again, just as if I did here. But instead of doing them straight up and down, what I did was cut them into a cone shape. So I found the center of the opposite side of that damask punch, and I just cut it straight down each side, making them into almost like little ice cream cones. And then I pieced them together so that it made another whole look for that border. So wanted you to see, I'll just quick go back through all the different ideas you can do with the Mandala border punch, with the spring floral border punch. Here's the Mandala again. This is cutting corners, just tucking them under your pages, cutting corners and then trimming that black paper in between those cut corners, cutting all the way around as a frame and in different sizes, divisible by 2. Making borders with alternating looks with different widths. These were done with 2.5-inch strips. These were done with 3-inch strips. Fold them over when you have that double-sided paper. Alternate your patterns with different color papers. And just remember, you can always use it as a single border as well. They just look beautiful. I hope you will create something absolutely beautiful this week while you're scrapbooking. Stop back for more ideas or feel free to join my team and learn more. Have a great day.